When my eyes were closed, I found sight. In my darkest hour, I found light. Like a lighthouse in the night, the moon was my guide. The universe spoke to me in disguise. The process is divine. Everything will be fine. As long as I remember, love conquers every time.
2012 was a major turning point in my life. I was walking home from Fruitvale Bart when two guys came out of nowhere trying to rob me. I ended up running away, and as I was running, one of them shot me in the leg. This situation really woke me up. I questioned over and over, why me? And through the time I spent alone, off work and healing, I got the answers to my question and realized how necessary this part of my life was. It was like a rebirth. I started seeing life from a new perspective. I felt like it took that traumatic experience for me to understand that there was a force beyond what my eyes could see that was guiding me and directing me to the next level in my life. I was curious and wanted to become more familiar with this force, which is what led me on the path to my spiritual journey. Along my journey, I've met other like-minded individuals and was interested in hearing their perspective and what led them on their spiritual journey.
Spirituality, how would I define it?
Transformation. Transformation for sure.
Awareness. It means being present, being aware of both the seen and the unseen. And I feel like we are all spiritual beings, having a human experience.
I personally feel like it's a spirit within everything. So, spirituality is the bare essence of life, and also being in tune with self.
It's just your connectedness with everything, but it all starts with yourself, because if you can't connect with self, then it's hard to connect with other people or with anything else.
I feel like struggle is necessary, because if you don't know bad, then you don't know good. And if you don't know good, then you don't know bad. It's a balance, and you gotta have something that makes you wanna strive to be better.
I feel like it's been different transitions and experiences that have got me to this point where I'm at, and that have gotten me to this perspective of viewing life. I grew up in Richmond, California in a negative environment, where I haven't been exposed to a lot of spirituality and things of that nature, just in tune with a lot of mundane things, a lot of lower vibrational things. It took me to experience a traumatic experience by almost losing my life, getting shot, 4 times in Richmond, California, and when I got shot, that really sat me down, and I had to take time to recover and heal. But a lot of those days and nights that it took me to recover and heal, I had a lot of time to myself, to really reflect on life, reflect on my purpose, reflect on just this reality.
I mean, ever since I was a little kid, from a very young age, it was I always had questions about what happens when you die and who's God, and all these questions that a lot of people, my grandmother couldn't answer, my parents couldn't answer, and then when they tried to, it really never made sense to me. It just didn't add up.
I would say I've always felt connected to my surroundings, to myself, since I can remember as a child, and having a real sensitivity to the world around me. Both a gift and a curse, because I was so aware that I could feel and sense other people and what they were feeling themselves, or I could really connect to through my senses and being in a beautiful natural setting. But at the same time, I was so sensitive that I would feel so much that it was my emotions would kind of take me out, or they would cause me to be overwhelmed with life. And then it wasn't until I was going through depression when I was about 17, 18, that I was introduced to my first yoga class, and my life completely transformed after that experience.
I like to meditate. I'd say that sometimes when life can get really hectic or busy, I can feel like I don't have my balance, or I'm not feeling grounded unless I am consistent with coming to nature and meditating and cleansing my space and setting intentions, you know?
A teacher of mine was telling me that it's spiritual tools out here you can use to protect yourself. And they started talking really heavily about the crystals and the minerals and the gemstones. So the stones are really good for just connecting to the earth. So all the stones are made from minerals, and the minerals are what make our body up. So once you connect to these stones, it just connects you to the earth and gets you really back in tune with everything that's going on around us on a daily basis.
Working out was huge for me. Like, I was 80 pounds heavier than what you see today. So me losing a lot of the weight I lost helped me get with that connection. Also eating very cleanly. I've been vegan for almost 2 years now. So I feel like the cleaner that I eat, the more that I feel more connected with everything around me.
On my spiritual path, I take the time to acknowledge nature because I am an earthling on this earth, you know, and sharing this experience with my other earthlings, my other reflections of human beings. You know, a lot of us may not be in tune with that perspective, but my perspective is just like taking the time to acknowledge the earth, taking the time to go hiking, detaching from society from time to time, and just tapping into that meditation and having that connection with myself, having me time.
It's different for everybody, because meditation could be music for one person, writing for another person, going on walks for another person, you know, sitting down and really like tapping in for another person, and all of those things work. You know, it's circumstantial. We're all different. We're all individuals. So there's no one way to be spiritual or one way to be in tune with yourself. It all is going to depend on the person.
Supernatural experiences.
To me personally, I think that everything is a supernatural experience. Like, I feel like we kind of write off a lot of things as maybe coincidences or just kind of like odd happenings, but nothing happens by chance. Everything happens with purpose. I don't take lightly anything, you know, anything that happens, us connecting, me meeting anybody that comes through at the market, a ladybug that lands on my leg or whatever. All of these things are divine and all of it has purpose. It's just a matter of your perspective being able to liberate whatever purpose and whatever divinity or whatever supernatural aspect that might be.
We have to pay attention to the signs that we get from the universe, you know? And my mind is so open to that now, and just always observing and keeping my third eye open, man, just peeping, because the universe will speak to you in many ways, you know, through people, through experiences, situations.
Numbers are like my spirit guide. They're like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Just keep going, you're on the right path. Like, what I first started seeing a lot was 333. I kept seeing that and I was just like, okay, I keep waking up, like I kept waking up exactly at 333 and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Okay, let me look this up. And I found out 333 is like representation of you being in tune with your mind, body, and spirit. And just to keep on the right path. And then I started seeing 1111. And like literally I'd be thinking about some deep shit whenever I see 1111. It's just like, okay. Numbers to me are like confirmations and messages from your ancestors and messages to yourself of thoughts that you may have. So I feel like you may be thinking of an idea or thinking deep or having like a theory in your head, like maybe this is why this is this and this is why this is this, and then literally you'll see a number like, yep.
It's been a voice to me, and I've always known that it's, like I say, if you want to call it God, the universe, whatever the case may be, because it's always coming from a loving place. You know, I feel like sometimes you know, we can hear voices in our head or whatever the case may be, and then we kind of write it off and we don't tap into it. But sometimes we were talking about meditation earlier, and it's like I'm always trying to be in a state of meditation throughout the entire day. And what I mean by that is like, I'll try to clear my mind from all these outside noises and distractions that the world gives us, and really like just hone in on like that voice that I'm hearing. And as long as it's coming from a loving place, then I know that that's where my inner soul or my subconscious is guiding me for a particular reason, because it's something that needs to be done or needs to be said in that particular moment.
But I say I always been in tune because like I always had like dreams that would come true and like receive messages in my dreams.
I'm getting more and more intuitive, like knowing things before it happens, or just knowing the right moves to make, you know. And just creativity, that's a spiritual gift, just being able to create with your words, or be able to create with your mind. That's all we're here to do, is create. So that's the number one spiritual gift that we have.
Yeah, everybody is gifted, you know, in their own way. However, it's like as children, we're like molded and formed and brainwashed and like controlled to be a certain way.
You got to think about when we're born. We don't have any of the programming that's instilled in us that comes over years and years. And what I mean, like when we're born, we don't have a belief system when we're born. That's something that's taught to us. Like people that say they're Christian or they're Catholic or they're Baptist or Buddhist or whatever the case may be, right? They don't know that. You're not born and one day you're like, oh, I'm a Catholic or I'm a Buddhist. It's something that somebody in your family or somebody in the community says, oh, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying?
I don't judge anybody. I don't feel anybody is right or wrong for whatever path they choose to experience spirituality through, you know. Everything has purpose. But my personal belief is that religion definitely does put you in some type of box, you know. It makes you have to abide by certain rules and things in order to be accepted and to be, you know, okay, to be right. You know, you have to be these certain things when there's no conditions to love. There's no conditions to being accepted, and there's no exceptions to being who you are. You can be you without anybody say so. You know, you can be right without anybody say so, because everybody has individual purpose, you know.
I kind of felt like, oh, I can't think for myself, or someone's telling me I have to go off of these beliefs when I myself maybe don't find that to be true in my own experience. But in a lot of ways it was great that I had that experience, because then it pushed me to then discover, well, what is God? What is spirituality? What is this divine source that is breathing me and beating my heart right now and responsible for all life? You know, in the times we're living in, so many of us are focused externally on what there is to do next and how to make more money and this and that, you know, and then once we get there, then it's moving on to the next thing. But if we can actually stop and smell the roses and appreciate and have that sense of gratitude for what is here right now, then I believe more doors can open.
I just want to heal the world and bring the world to a higher consciousness, to where we all understand the real meaning of unconditional love. The key to life and the key to just succeeding and moving forward and transforming yourself is loving yourself. Anything is possible if you love yourself and you love all.